about a month ago, I made the April Fool's joke that I was taking over the Chaos Divers, and the Council of Five services would not be needed any longer. If I was serious about that, it's these guys who would make sure that I would not live to regret such an ill-advised move. They are absolutely devastating with lance and shield, and would almost certainly give me the shallow grave at the edge of town treatment. The only thing that surpasses their lethality is their loyalty to the Council. Now, let's dive right into news from the Galactic Sphere. So, holy fluff, guys, I took a day off playing the new V Rising content, and, I guess the Automatons have more beef with us than a pack of Super Tyson Chicky Nuggies. Is there a single planet along our borders that is not currently being invaded? At last count, Imber, Vernen, SEAF, and Claorell have all been claimed by the Collective, and that's just the Western Front. What is with this map right now? There's more red lines here than a packed Super Formula 1 racetrack at sunset. And of course, the Tryhard Division, that being those super robotic psychopaths in the Incineration Corps, are taking another crack at us, and this time they are throwing everything they've got into one planet so we can just lawnmower them down really easily. No, this shows that even a potato-powered light bulb can learn, and they are hitting Vernen, SEAF, and Imber simultaneously. Awesome. And you can bet they're not going to stop there, and this does not look like the mainframe throwing another temper tantrum just to grab some land on the cheap and dirty. No, they are securing access corridors towards Super Earth, and they are doing it in such a way that they can't get popped down back into the dirt. I have heard that the 107 Chief Salamanders are trying to turn our situation around and get some momentum back so they can make a stab at their homeworld on Menkent, and have enlisted the aid of the 95th Roughnecks to try to pull that off in what is being referred to as Joint Operation Homefront, pertinent details of which are on screen presently. But I am not gonna lie to you, the bots have the advantage here and they have learned from their mistakes. This is a tall order, but if anyone can pull it off, they can. Roughnecks, lead the way. On the other side of the Galactic Sphere, we have the Terminids securing a northern access corridor through Rock and Terrek, and a southern one through Veld and Slip, and surprise, surprise, the Predator strain is leading the charge. If these things aren't being guided or manipulated by some unseen hand, I'm Beyonce. Originally, I'd say the Major Order was going well until Imber flopped over like my dog Schnorzel after a good session of playing fetch. Fish necessitates the retaking of either Imber or Clausa to regain access to Claorell, and Clausa does sound like the better option, which the Liberation Fleet is not taking. For whatever reason, the Incineration Corps really seems to like planets that are already on fire, despite themselves being crammed so full of munitions that tend to go boom if they get warmed up too quick. They're likely to explode if you pass near them with a microwave. Hey, somebody try to weaponize that concept. It is also worth noting that the I-44 Salamander Heavy Armor and I-92 Firefighter Medium Armor, along with accompanying helmets, are on sale in the Superstore for another day or so, and I have actually found the Incineration Corps easier to deal with than garden variety bots with the proper gear setup. Something like the Salamander Armor makes it so that you can be lit on fire and simply not care. Meanwhile, on Krakabos, the Nadir Divers launched a preemptive strike against Vertex and Gunvolt forces, but intel suggests that they had intended on launching such an attack anyway. The presence and intent of the Seraphim just sped up their timetable a little. They've also been pushed into deploying chemical weapons against human civilian targets, which hasn't happened since the battle days of the Unification Wars. Such weapons were unleashed on the settlement of Garth Hollow, which was filled with refugees. Every single person there was killed in the night without even having enough of a warning to rouse from slumber. See, Nadir Divers, when you do things like that, it doesn't break the resolve of the Seraphim. It just makes us angrier. So here's how things are gonna go down for you. We're going to keep hitting you with in-atmo blitz jumps, shattering targets of opportunity, flanking you, slapping you around with orbital drops, and just generally disassembling your war machine with asymmetric warfare until you give up. Because we are very good at this type of fighting and we can do this all day. I was warned by a very reliable source that you guys like to fight dirty. Well, guess what? I like that too. So we're just gonna see who ends up getting their teeth knocked out, face down in the mud by the time all this is over. It's as a close personal friend of mine once said, if the fight is fair, reevaluate. But you know, with all of this bad news rampaging its way across the stars, maybe they should all just take a step back and enjoy something cozy. I totally missed the covering of the Weekly Raven, so let's take a look at what's going on in the 104th, shall we? It opens with a quick recap of the Major Order, with alien invasions making a beeline towards Super Earth. Top analysts say that there is a 65% of Super Earth itself being invaded in the next month, and all wolf divers are ordered to stay close to the mother planet so as to prevent any invasive shenanigans. Okay, we're doing a great job so far on lifting the mood. The next page goes on from there to mention the Illuminate's attempts to sabotage the now nicely cratered repulsive gravity generator, as well as the campaign to liberate Turing, where I perfected my Spartan build, which I will mention tomorrow night on a segment of the Geneva Suggestion. Believe it or not, melee combat against the Predator strain isn't just viable, it might be one of my favorite ways to take them down. After that, it goes into Norse Lore of the Week, covering Sol and Many, gods of the sun and moon. Sol is still used as the name for a super-Earth star, hence the name Sol, our system, and Mani was the moon in a brother-sister pair. Shortly after being created, the gods met and created different parts of the day, the year, phases of the moon, etc., basically the passage of time. But they needed to be a little on the quick side because Sol and Mani are ever being pursued by Skoll and Hati, ravenous wolves of the stars. When Ragnarok is upon us, the wolves swallow the gods of the sun and moon and plunge all of the cosmos into total and everlasting darkness. I am kind of reminded on how Terminids and bots keep chasing the light of democracy around, but I am thinking that maybe Sol and Mani would benefit from a Liberator assault rifle, delivered personally by the Angel of the Airwaves. Given what this thing does to the enemies of democracy, I don't think that pair of wolves is going to trouble anyone anymore. Now a word on Viking history and culture. When you say Viking, inevitably the image of a ship fills one's mind. Tall in mast, but shallow in draft. Able to handle the deep seas just as well as the shallow currents for raiding. They were useful in times of peace as well as war, offering trade goods as well as an axe to the face if you crossed them, which probably helped a lot at securing better trade routes overall. Word to the wise, listeners of the Liberation Fleet, wimps tend not to get discounts. While they don't take the sea anymore, many of these ships are painstakingly preserved in super-Earth museums today, and if someone told me that these concepts made their way into Super Destroyer construction, I would not be shocked. Truly, Vikings knew their stuff, and when a great chieftain died, he was often buried with his boat, set alight as it was pushed out to sea for one final time. That's another run of the Weekly Raven, everyone, and normally I would be covering the stock market changes as well, but they don't appear to have been updated just yet. Nor any new contracts or bounties within the Mercdivers PMC for that matter. As always, I'd like to thank Bunin, Hilmar, Oracle, Snarlo, Venom, Jovial, Silas, Hellfire, and Acegarden for another wonderful edition of my favorite paper. We'll catch them all next Monday with a fresh cup of liberty. That's also been Liberty's latest with me, Pondera the Radio Angel. Normally, I'd be a bit concerned, dear listeners, but truly Lady Electo and I take great delight in fighting the Automatons. They are our favorite prey, and there have been many occasions where I was angling to take down a Devastator drawing a bead on me, and bore witness to its head just exploding from a single well-placed shot. My battle sister always has my back. Oh, what's she been doing lately? Well, I did send her off on a special mission some time ago, and I've just about got the audio logs compiled from that. Stay tuned, dear divers of daring do. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for the angelic rebellion. Viva la Revolution Angelique.